Hello everyone, welcome back to the Adkup show. Today we are diving deep into the Syrian conflict, from its spark in 2011 to stunning collapse of Bashar al-Assad's regime at the end of 2024. This isn't just a history lesson, it's an exploration of how a fight for freedom turned into one of the longest, most devastating conflicts of the century. So without wasting time, let's start. So it all began in March 2011 in the small city of Dara, where teenagers were arrested for anti-government graffiti. The harsh response to the protests that followed this incident ignited a nationwide movement for democracy. Inspired by the Arab Spring, Syrians took to the streets demanding political freedom, the release of political prisoners, and an end to corruption. The Assad regime's brutal crackdown, however, turned these peaceful protests into a bloody revolt. By July 2011, the Free Syrian Army was formed, FSA, consisting of defectors from Assad's military. This marked the shift from civil unrest to civil war. Initially, the opposition was diverse, including secular Democrats, but as the conflicts wore on, Islamist groups like Jabhat al-Nusra, which later became Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, and ISIS entered the fray, changing the war's nature and objectives. By 2012, Syria was in full-scale civil war. The government used its air force and heavy artillery against rebels and civilians alike, leading to international outcry over human rights abuses. Chemical weapons were allegedly used, with infamous Gautaka attack in 2013 crossing Obama's red line. Yet intervention was limited to diplomatic efforts, only destroying Syria's declared chemical weapon arsenals under international supervision. The conflict saw the rise of numerous factions, not just fighting Assad but each other. The Kurds in northeast under the Syrian Democratic Forces (SDF) craved out an autonomous region, adding another layer to this already complex conflict. The Syrian war became a proxy battleground for global powers. Russia, seeing an opportunity to expand its influence in the Middle East, supported Assad with airstrikes starting in September 2015. Iran and Hezbollah also backed Assad, providing ground troops and strategic support. On the other side, Western countries, particularly US and UK, supported various opposition groups, which included even Islamic terror groups. Turkey, concerned about Kurdish forces, played a dual role, supporting some opposition groups while also launching operations against Kurdish-held areas to prevent the formation of a Kurdish state on its border. For years, the war settled in a brutal stalemate. Cities like Aleppo were divided with horrific sieges and bombardment. Idlib became a stronghold for Islamist groups, while SDF, backed by the US, focused on fighting ISIS in the east. Humanitarian crisis unfolded with over half of Syria's population displaced, citing one of the largest refugee crises in modern history. The economic effect was catastrophic, with infrastructure destroyed and economy in shambles. Then came November 2024, a coordinated offensive by opposition forces, led by HTS, named Operation Deterrence of Aggression, caught the Assad regime off guard. The rebels quickly overran Aleppo, a major strategic city, in late November. This breakthrough was facilitated by a combination of factors. Assad forces were depleted, with many loyalists deserting or being killed over the years. Russia and Iran were stretched thin, Russia with its conflict in Ukraine and Iran with tensions with Israel. A lack of coordination and morale among Assad's troops. By December 8, 2024, opposition forces entered Damascus, leading to dramatic collapse of Assad's control. Assad, realizing the battle was lost, fled to Moscow, where he was granted asylum by Putin, his longtime ally. This sudden turn of events left the world in shock. The fall of Assad was not just the end of a regime, but a seismic shift in Middle Eastern politics. The immediate aftermath saw celebrations in some areas, but also confusion and fear about what would come next. The power vacuum left questions about governance, how to reintegrate fighters, and the role of foreign powers. So the questions are, would the opposition faction unite or would they continue fighting among themselves? What would happen to Kurdish-controlled areas? How would international powers adjust to this new reality? By the way, this was the political map of Syria before the fall of Assad regime. Green is the coalition of Islamist jihadists under the control and support of Turkey. Red is a territory of the Assad regime. The largest city is of course the capital Damascus. The important cities of Hama and Homs. Alawites live in the west. Bashar al-Assad is from Alawite sect. Before the civil war, about 23 million people lived in Syria. Now total number of residents is just about 15 million. Most live in territory controlled by Assad regime, and most are Sunnis. The humanitarian crisis persisted, with millions needing aid and infrastructure needing rebuilding. The international community faced new challenges in aiding Syria without repeating the mistakes of post-Iraq. And just like that, the Assad regime was no more. Thanks for sticking with us through this detailed journey into the Syrian Civil War. If you found this video informative, leave a like, subscribe for more geopolitical deep dive, and let us know your thoughts in comments below. Remember, history is always in making and we'll always be here to cover it. Catch you in the next video.